Richo, thanks for joining me this afternoon. Was it the right decision by Jodi McKay to resign?
Very much so. I think after the Upper Hunter by-election, she really had little choice. She's had enough time to make an impact and has failed to do so. Being a nice person isn't enough. You've got to have that impact, that oomph. She didn't quite have it, and so it's time to give someone else a go.
She claims, though, that if a ballot were to be held today, she would win, and that nobody has pat her on the shoulder and asked her to leave. So did she have to go?
Yeah, she did have to go. I actually don't believe she would have won a ballot in her own caucus today. I think the Upper Hunter result has had a bigger effect on people than perhaps she understands.
4 New South Wales Labor leaders since 2018. Richo, is simply changing the leader going to be enough, or is there an issue with the messaging and the direction of the party?
No, I don't believe there's an issue with the messaging and the direction. I think it's just that you're up against a very good government. It's been a government that's been an infrastructure government. It's got lots of things it can point to and say, look, how clever are we did that. I think as long as you're against a government that's going in that direction, it's always hard to beat them. And so Berejiklian has remained steadfastly popular. People like her. And so it's a very tough job being New South Wales opposition leader at the moment. Wouldn't matter who it is. Hell of a job to try and beat Gladys.
Jodi McKay, though, did say over the weekend that the Labor message is not resonating with voters following their loss in the Upper Hunter by-election. Even Chris Minns the other day saying that their message has been too negative. So are there deeper issues?
I don't think we've had a message. That's been the problem. I think we've been largely rudderless in that respect. If we had a message, I missed it, and I'm a fairly keen observer of these things. I don't know what our message is anymore. I think that's something that Minns will have to define, sort out, and then pursue with some vigour. It's not going to be easy.
So do you believe that Chris Minns is now the likely replacement?
Oh, I think pretty certain, yeah. I don't think there's much doubt about that.
Have you spoken to the General Secretary, Bob Namber?
Yeah, Bob Namber's a very good friend of mine. I speak to him often.
And what is he saying about the situation?
Oh, I think he understands that change is imminent and necessary.
Have you also spoken with Jodi McKay in the last few days?
I speak to Jodi quite often. I did not speak to her last night, but I intend to ring her this afternoon.
What's her future looking like now?
Well, I think I hope she stays in the Parliament. She'd be a very senior minister in a Labor government, and she'd be a very effective shadow minister. So I hope she stays. I mean, just because you're not leader doesn't mean that you're finished. I think it's appropriate for those who've been in government as leaders to leave. I mean, there's no point in ex-prime ministers hanging around or ex-premiers. But in the case of Jodi McKay, I think she should be staying, and I think she should be given an important role to play.
Just finally, what do you think went wrong for Labor over the weekend in the Upper Hunter by-election? Jodi McKay, throughout that campaign, was confident that they certainly had a chance. Was that the right message?
No, we never had any a bull's roar. We couldn't get within that a victory in that seat. It's just a thing we've never held. 90 years or something of consecutive Conservative victories. How the hell are you going to reverse that? I don't know. I think when I'm long gone and my son is looking at his grandkids, it'll still be a Conservative seat. This is not something Labor's ever going to win, and you should never set expectations high. It's always a good thing in politics to set expectations low.